With a brand new Mario Kart on the way, Nintendo Switch 2 trailer coming out. Even though I don't do a lot of Mario videos, I feel like it was a good time to make a list of my course predictions. This is something I made a while ago for new course ideas. And today I'm sharing a lot of them with some of my favorite friends that also like to play some Mario games. And then I'm gonna hear some of their new ideas and just kind of like a discussion type of video. In all, there's gonna be probably about like 70 new course ideas you're gonna see in this video. This is probably gonna be a really cool, chill video. Maybe something you wanna watch before bed. There's just so many new ideas they could do for the next Mario Kart, whether it's Mario Kart 9, Mario Kart 10, I don't know what they're gonna call it, but I'm just stoked that there's finally a new game rather than some DLC. We're gonna see whatever the new gimmick is, new layout of certain courses, how they're remastered for retro courses, all of it. But today is just focusing on new courses, new course ideas. Leave a like and subscribe if you enjoy, and maybe I can make some more videos like this in the future. We'll see. Shout out my guests, Zander, GabeSlidIn, and Miles for joining me on this one. Let's just get right into it. I'm excited. Let's do it.
Yo, what's going on, guys? Today, I'm joined with my main man, Zan. I'm joined with my guy, Gabe. I'm here today with my guy, Miles. How's it going, my man?
Doing well, doing well. Ready to talk some Mario Kart.
It's going pretty good, man. Feeling good, ready to go.
Good, doing well. How are you?
Doing really good.
So the full layout is I have 48 new ideas for courses, 4 per cup, so 12 unique cups. I'm gonna say 4 of them specifically with each guest, 4 per person. After that, they're gonna give me their new course ideas. I told them they could bring as little as 3 new course ideas, as many as 10. And then at the end, I'm gonna show them the other course ideas that I gave to the guests aside from themselves to see whichever ones they think are the best. So grab your popcorn. This is gonna be a long one, and let's get into it.
The mushroom cup, you know, that is the first cup that you usually see in the Nitro cups in Mario Kart. The first one that I started off with, I called this one Cascade Circuit. Now it's kind of based a little bit off the Cascade Kingdom from Super Mario Odyssey, and maybe with the likelihood of like a sequel or like a new like 3D Mario coming on the Switch 2. I think it's possible we could see something like this, and maybe like a slight water portion, and maybe like a glider off the top of the waterfall, or maybe like an underwater section where you pop out through the waterfall would be kind of cool. I think there's like a lot of potential here to like have crazy bumps too across the whole kingdom.
For Cascade Falls, you gotta add like the dinosaur, you know, from the Cascade Kingdom. You know, something about the dinosaur either chasing carts or something, I don't know, or just as an obstacle that comes and bites you off the glider going off the falls. I like it.
I know you're a big Mario Odyssey guy yourself, so
yeah.
I had to put that one in the mushroom cup there.
I do like the Cascade Falls.
Kind of a water theme with the second one here, but I called it Sandy Flows. And so basically it would be like a beach course where it'd be like the wind is really breezy, like maybe it'd be like 40-50 degree weather, but the sand would also play a real factor because it could like maybe disrupt the racers, make it a little bit like obstructing their vision. Mostly be along the shoreline, could go a little bit underwater, but you'd also go through like beach chairs, some like cabanas, and then like maybe every lap you get further and further into the level, the wind gets more aggressive, like how on Sunset Wilds for the GBA, the sun like gets lower. The wind would get more aggressive here, and that'd be a big factor.
Sandy Flows, I don't know. Nothing jumped out to me of anything I would change. It sounded pretty good as is. I like that one.
Peanut butter pipeline.
Okay.
This one's a little bit out of the blue, but I think it's similar to like, I mean, you know, like Sweet Sweet Canyon from Mario Kart 8, and like the theme, like just with all the sweets, I think you'd have like a bunch of like peanut butter around there. Maybe you could drive through like puddles of peanut butter that would like kind of act as like the backyard part of like the, you know, like on Luigi's Mansion on the DS where it's like kind of a sliding part in the backyard. Like it would kind of act like that. Maybe even somewhere along the way there could be like a little jelly shortcut, like near the end, like the peanut butter jelly. Yeah, gotta pair them together, you know.
I really like that idea too. I will say though that Cascade Falls and Peanut Butter Pipeline sound more interesting than Sandy Flows.
Yeah,
just because we have lots of beach maps and whatever already.
Now that is the one thing about like the mushroom cup. Like I feel like we got to start with like some lighter ones. Like now
that is true for the first cup. Okay, if we're when you're thinking of it from that aspect, I like that. Okay.
Yeah. Now
it's like a beginner basic map. Okay.
Yeah. As we get past like the special cup and stuff like that, you'll start to see like more of the heavy hitters come to play. So But Koopa Lounge, and it's basically a course that focuses on if you remember the Koopa's Tycoon Town level on Mario Party 8 with the hotels. Basically, like my idea with that would be, you know, there'd be a bunch of like Koopa themed hotels, and then like you'd kind of maybe travel a little bit through them, maybe through like the lounges and stuff. I feel like this would add another cool element to it, because like on some of the Mario DS games, there's like the Luigi card playing game at the casino, and I feel like it'd be really cool if you like take a quick trip down there and like you see like Luigi playing cards and stuff like that. Like, you got to navigate through like the casino there. Maybe like a breakfast bar, ping pong table. I don't know. I think these would be cool things to add to this one, though.
Yeah, and are Koopas like considered bad guys? So like, you know how there's always like cities of like Toads and whatever are the good guys, and it'd be cool to see like a city of the bad guys, and there's a city of Koopas, and the casino would be a perfect example of that aspect of it.
The Koopas technically are bad guys, but like there's the I'm forgetting the name of the exact Koopa, but there's like those Koopas that have like kind of like the full black eyes, and I don't know if it's like in the Paper Mario games, they're like most apparent.
Are they the ones like with the black shells?
Kinda, no? I think, but like
the ones that they like just like go into their shell.
Those kind of Koopas give off like more of like a gambling vibe. So like I can see them put around there. I don't know. Of those four, like between Cascade Circuit, Sandy Flows, Peanut Butter Pipeline, and Koopa Lounge, what are your thoughts on the Mushroom Cup? Would you reorganize like the courses at all, like in the order that it's in? Do you have any twists that you would add?
I don't think so. I think I like it because Cascade Falls is the first kingdom, Cascade Kingdom, well, actually no, Hat Kingdom's technically first, no?
I think it's the Cap Kingdom is first, yeah.
So in that case, maybe I would change the order to put the Sandy Flows first and then Cascade second. It's more like a basic level compared to Cascade Falls, I feel like. Yeah, other than that, I think it's a great cup. I mean, especially for a first cup, Peanut Butter Pipeline sounds really good, and obviously the lounge, so yeah. Definitely think the lounge is the strongest of all of them, so it makes sense that it's last. Mm-hmm. Same thing with like Peanut Butter Pipeline, I think it's good.
The Flower Cup. We'll start off with Mario Circuit here. Similar to what we saw in the course like that was leaked, Super Mario Bros. Circuit. I see this kind of having more of a similar theme, but kind of like what you saw in like World 1 maybe of like Super Mario Wonder, Pipe Rock Plateau. It would be more green, Elephant Mario kind of, maybe you could even have an Elephant Mario statue, talking flowers, and like the Poplins, those are the guys that like ran the stores and stuff like that, like Prince Florian. If he's not playable, he'd be like on the outskirts of the course or something. Circling around Peach's Castle, more so on like a golden path, essentially. Wouldn't really be anything too crazy, Mario Circuit, they're never like super extreme. Maybe some anti-gravity and stuff here and there, although we don't even know if that's going to return yet because we didn't really see that in the trailer.
Yeah,
so
might be a new gimmick. There's always a new gimmick. You don't know what it's going to be, but they brought back 7's gimmick for 8, so
I don't expect there to be any water in this, but maybe like a glider and stuff like that. Definitely going to be a little bit of hills as you go through, but nothing too crazy. Now, the second one's interesting. Pianta Fields. Piantas, I feel like they're one of the fan favorites that haven't got too much love lately. You know what I mean? Just imagine a giant cornfield, but like all the corn is already kind of like shucked away. It's maybe a little bit like deserted, but filled with the piantas, and they're kind of guiding you everywhere you go. Imagine just like a swarm of piantas that are like the boundaries of the course. It would be more like a speedway course, but you would have the ability to like do different paths and stuff like a cornfield maze would have. It would be very much like N64's Yoshi Valley, where there's a lot of winding ways and you can go however you want. And I think it would just be good to bring back the personality of Pianta.
That's an interesting kind of mix there, I guess. When you think of the Piantas, you kind of think more like Tropical, Isle Delfino. But, they did have Delfino Square in Mario Kart DS. So, you definitely seen them being able to tie them in and put them in there just with your general cornfield idea is to hit.
I'm a big fan of Pianta. I feel like he needs more respect. I called this third one Fireball Fumes. It would kind of be like World 1, 2 in the original Super Mario Bros. Where you go underground and like you go through the pipe and it's like very bluish gray, and then there's random fireballs like throughout the course that you have to try and avoid. See like in the background, like there'd be like lava and stuff like that. Like it'd really add a more three-dimensional aspect of World 1-2, I think. And then maybe near the end of the lap, there would be fog that maybe gradually starts to get a little bit more difficult to see. It would almost act like a blooper, and especially if the blooper item did return, like it would be, even more difficult to get through that part. But once you come back out of the pipe, then that fog goes away, and then like starts the next lap. Same type of thing.
Yeah, we've seen a couple underground levels, and I was thinking of like an underground one, and just kind of sparked in my mind. If you know the like kind of shadow levels from like 3D World, where there's kind of like all you can see is like the shadow on the back. I think being able to put some of that like iconography in there and just kind of have that be like more of an effect too. Just tie that in with like an underground level somehow. I think that'd make for a really visually appealing course.
The last one I have for this course, Holiday Hills. Potential to incorporate like a little bit of themes from like a lot of major holidays. Christmas, Thanksgiving, Halloween, Easter, 4th of July. So like you could have fireworks. One really random thing that they could add is like Wario Land Shake It. There's these one enemies called the Turkey Jerks. You could bring them back and maybe put them in there. Dry Bone stuff or Dry Bowser for Halloween. Yoshi eggs, Birdo eggs. Christmas light section where you like go buy it, like that swirl near the end of Airship Fortress, which I know you like as well. But it'd be a 3-parter instead of like 3 laps of the same thing if there's a lot to put in there.
Yeah, it almost kind of reminds me of like the Animal Crossing stage, where it can kind of like it changes when you play it, like what season you're in. Even was the same course, but just changed based on holiday. I think that could be really interesting. I know the kind of Christmas themed course they did in 8, the Booster Course Pass, was one of their better ones from the Booster Pass. You know, it is a worldwide kind of audience, so just kind of taking holidays from all around the world and seeing how you can best integrate that, I think would be a really interesting challenge. But knowing them, they can make that pay off.
Like you said, like with the Animal Crossing thing, but it's like a different holiday, like depending on like when you're playing it or something like that. It could just literally be random, but I didn't want to make it like too Christmas themed because I know they did just come out with Merry Mountain. I feel like this would kind of hit on like more of the other stuff as well, and maybe not too much, you know?
Yeah.
Mario Circuit, the Pianta Fields, Fireball Fumes, and Holiday Hills. What would your thoughts be on those courses?
I think it's a pretty good cut for like kind of one of the easier ones. Like honestly, I think if you were to like order it, I think that you would want to put the Pianta Fields last, just kind of like a little bit more complicated on a different path. I feel like Mario Circuit's always in that second spot. Pretty good course layout there. I think it's pretty well balanced.
With the Star Cup, first one I want to see is Acorn Plains. You know, this is like the very first world in New Super Mario Bros. U. I feel like it has a very distinct nature theme, kind of like the Forest of Illusion in Super Mario World. You know, most of these worlds were ultimately remade in Mario Kart courses, so I think it'd be a chill nature theme, mushrooms, piranha plants all around. So
yeah, absolutely, definitely a good starter one. I mean, New Super Mario Bros. U is kind of the more accessible New Super Mario Bros. Game that I'm sure a lot of people have had, so it'd be a familiar area to have as a first course for sure.
Follow that one. I got Honey Hive Drive. Now, you can probably imagine this is themed after the Honey Hive Galaxy on Super Mario Galaxy. Really one of the most memorable courses from that game. You'd kind of navigate maybe through like the lily pads, like you'd go across like, you know, drive on maybe the Honey Queen if she has no playable character, just like that one like mission you got to do, or like maybe a trick off some smaller bees and then you glide back to the start and there's like the wooded area. I think with the battle stage that failed in Mario Kart 7, I think it would be good for this like course to redeem itself here.
Yeah, this is Honey Hive Galaxy is definitely one that's better that would be better as an actual race course than a battle arena. There were definitely a lot of fun areas. You know, I'm interested to see, you know, in those courses, we'll obviously still have gliding. That's what we think. I mean, that's the thing with all these courses. We're not entirely sure on what the new gimmick will be for the new Mario Kart game, because all we got was the 25-second snippet in the Switch 2 release. And just going off kind of what we knew, the more cartoonish feel, and that we're going to have a lot more racers, it appears. Honey Hive Galaxy is a pretty wide spread out galaxy with a lot of places to go. So it'd be a cool, you know, race course.
And there's even like the back end, like kind of on the left side, which, I mean, they could use something like that. Maybe it's like an alternate route near the end, because I know they started doing some of those with like different laps. The third one I have on here, it's kind of a little bit similar to, I'd say, like the Wario Shipyard course on the 3DS version, but I called it Sunken Fruitland. It would be like a sunken ship, maybe like the ship you see in like Jolly Roger Bay, like in Super Mario 64, but it would be just like a bunch of fruits underwater. So maybe you'd have like an orange slice or like a cucumber cut or something, or banana ramps. Like, I feel like there's just a lot of potential they could do there. A cool glider ramp. Maybe like you got to drive through like a hole in the apple, like a wormwood or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think there's just a lot of creative things they could do there.
Yeah, Wario Shipyard was a pretty cool course. I mean, we don't have a whole lot of actually going through an airship besides obviously Airship Fortress from the DS game. But no, that'd be fun to have another kind of version of it. Obviously, graphically, it would look a lot better. in a newer version and a fruit version, that'd be kind of funny. That'd be kind of funny.
And Wario Shipyard was a really fun course. I feel like it's really underrated as a Mario Kart course. So like it's often forgotten and it's actually really fun. But the last one I have here, so this is where I actually have the Bowser Castle course. This Bowser Castle, I would want it to kind of be similar to like Super Mario Bros. 3. Start like elevating up those steps and then you go back down like the opposite way. Then maybe there's like a variety of paths you could go, and there's like the Bowser statues that shoot the lasers. I think the cool part at the end is like, obviously like during the Bowser fight, like the whole point of the fight is like to get him to break through the ground. It'd be like a mechanical Bowser, and as you keep going more and more like through the laps, the ground would break like how it does on like Grumble Volcano. And so you really have to be like cautious of like where you're driving near the end there.
I'll tell you what, Nintendo has me extremely excited for what we're going to see with future lava courses or Bowser Castle courses with what they did with SNES Bowser Castle 3 and Wave 6.
Yes.
Because, oh my goodness, that was incredible for a game, Mario Kart 8, that, you know, obviously has so many courses with DLC and obviously the originals. I cannot wait to see what they decide to do, whether it is a Bowser Castle version. So you think that it would be more of a, I guess, kind of a version from maybe Mario Kart DS where there's less lava and you're kind of weaving through the inside of the castle?
Kinda, a little bit. I do think they could add lava surrounding the final section. Maybe the part where like the ground starts to break. I think that would make the most sense. And it doesn't have to be exact. I mean, we've seen like how actually my favorite course ever in Mario Kart is Ribbon Road. As a Mario Kart Super Circuit OG, and I love that course, and like the course was completely different, but it was still really good in its own right, like when they brought it back. So I think they have a lot of chances to do that.
Oh, for sure. No question about it. I'm just excited to see what Bowser Castle course we get, because I'm expecting a lot out of it after what we saw with Wave 6.
With that Star Cup there, Acorn Plains, Honey Hive Drive, Sunken Fruit Land, and Bowser Castle.
I like it a lot. You know, that being the Star Cups, that'd be typically the third cup you play. I like that there's a nice variety from, difficulty wise, and a nice, a variety of different landscapes too. So I like it.
The special cup now. Starting it off, I called this one Diamond Drifts. You might think it's kind of like maybe like a jeweler like thing or whatever. It's kind of a baseball themed course. And maybe you like race around like the baseball diamond, like through the dugouts and stuff. One dugout to the other, like across the front row with like the fans and stuff. Aside from when they added Los Angeles laps, like there hasn't really been much baseball representation in a Mario Kart.
Okay, yeah.
So I feel like this one would kind of feature like you could round the bases, maybe go through the pitcher's warm-up area too.
It's pretty sick.
Maybe incorporate the outfield a little, but I don't know about that part. But
I do really like that one. I do. Yeah, baseball and Mario Kart. Maybe you could have like what was I gonna say? Like, I don't know, some sort of randomizer that like you could hit like a single, double, home run or something. Like something like some sort of item box. I was just thinking it gives you an item out of it. The better hit you get.
That's honestly a cool. I mean, when you said that, it kind of inspired me to think about it. Like, maybe you could only be racing through the outfield, but like there's an actual baseball game like you're driving through. You know what I mean? Like it's a Sluggers game. Like Mario Super Slugger. So,
oh yeah.
I don't know. That might be kind of cool, and like maybe the ball like plays a role there. Like you have to avoid like the fielders and stuff, and the So
that's pretty cool.
And this one's just like a really bizarre theme: fudge thick front.
Okay.
I just kind of want to see a Mario Kart course that's like themed after fudge. I feel like it would just be like kind of random.
Nice, thick and brown.
Maybe like your cart like could get like stuck. Maybe it'd be even harder to like accelerate if you get hit by an item because you're on the fudge. No matter what, you'd have a lot of sections too where you'd be driving an off-road, so you might need like a boost to get through it or something. You've seen like the Sweet Sweet Canyon one, you've seen ice cream one that they added to recently, so definitely like no shortage of like food or dessert themed tracks, and I feel like this one would be a cool one too.
I think so too. Yep.
Now the third one is a pretty interesting one. I called it Luigi Library, and so there's never really been like a true library course like in a Mario Kart. You could go past like maybe the front checkout area, between the bookshelves. Like I think they could have like, if you remember on like Super Mario 64, there's like one mission where you have to get the books in order, and then like the books come through like the the cases and stuff and they fly out of the wall. Maybe there's something like that happening in there. Maybe there's like a trick ramp like on the outside. You go past like a kids area with like the toy trains, like that's usually in every library you see. Computer monitors, Twisted Mansion course on Mario Kart 8, like maybe not that gloomy, but like still like kind of a gloomy vibe. Like it'd be like a nighttime course.
Okay. Yeah, what'd you say it was, Luigi's Library?
I called it Luigi's Library, yeah.
What about if you made it Chemic's Library? Because wasn't Chemic, doesn't he have like a library?
That is a good one too. I like
and
that.
And then you could make it gloomy?
Yeah, I think honestly, if we had it as Chemic's Library too, it was a thing in Mario Party DS, and they had the vase things. It was like there's like
I do remember
vases with the stars or something.
Yes. Yep. You can maybe like the carts are miniaturized, sort of like how they are in the bathtub level on Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. You know, so you could like drive across the books as like ramps and stuff on the bookcases, and have some dark magic about.
We would definitely be able to kind of have the material there to like work with something. Yeah, either way, I mean, I do think it needs to be like a like dismal theme, you know, like kind of like a spooky library because of like, you know, the books that like could create havoc. Luigi's probably like the only like main character that would make sense just because of the Luigi's Mansion games, but I could actually see Kamek. Like that's actually a good one right there. To end off this special cup, you know, we got an obvious one right here, Rainbow Road. Now, my thought with like Rainbow Road this time, I think the way to change it up a little bit is maybe add a little bit more realism to the rainbow. It goes down like closer to the ground, and then like maybe there's like a part at the end of the course where like it's a pot of gold that shoots you in a cannon like to the other side.
So not like entirely in space.
Not entirely in space, no. Maybe like the peak point of it would be in space, but I think like you'd have to work your way up there. I mean, you see like the stars. The closest thing we've had to that is like I think Double Dash is Rainbow Road, where you could actually see like the ground. Like still some anti-gravity if they still have that feature. We really don't know if that's still going to return. I think it'd be a little bit different than like the average Rainbow Road, where most of it is like all the way in space and like maybe like by the moon and stuff like that, you know?
Yeah, I like it. I like that idea, that concept, like maybe starting in space, coming down to Earth.
With that cup right there, the special cup, we got Diamond Drifts, Fudge Thick Front, Luigi Library, and Rainbow Road. Although even with the Kamek's Library aspect of it, what would you think of like these four like general themes?
I like them. I like them all. I like every single idea that you came up with. I think they were all good.
The Egg Cup. I feel like it's only right to start off with a Yoshi themed course. Yoshi University. So, yeah. It would have a very like maybe Monsters University type of vibe, but instead like you just have a bunch of Yoshis. You're kind of traveling around town, different halls, like the dorm rooms, social gatherings and stuff like that. Maybe you go through like a few classrooms where there's a bunch of Yoshis, and it'd be like maybe funny if there was like a toad like teaching them or something like that. In between classes, like, and you're trying to move around through campus.
That's something they've never really done before, as far as I can tell. Kind of something more like college campus based, but I feel like that's a fun venue for a course. I like that.
The second one I got in this cup, I named it Plessy Creek. Plessy, of course, is the kind of orangish water dinosaur thing from Super Mario 3D World, and there's like the one level where like you gotta go down water, like fall a little bit, and then there's like that big drop at the end. I think it would have a very similar feel to that level, which I think it's called like Plessy's Plunging Falls. It'd be like a constant like driving over water course where you're not like underwater. It'd almost be like you're water gliding. And then once you get to the bottom, like there'd be like a steep downhill. Maybe it'd be like a glider section there. Once you get to the end, you would go in through like a hole that starts the next lap, and it would like kind of give the illusion that it's 3 laps, but it's really like 3 different sections.
Okay. Yeah, I feel like either way, whether it's a 3 section or just a 3 lap, that sounds like a good one. It comes kind of directly from the source material, so something that they can definitely pull from pretty directly. Yeah, that level is kind of one of the more standouts from that game, so being able to really take that and put it into a kart context is definitely a hit.
The third one, I think the third one would be a really interesting one. It's not really themed after a character, but I called it Nacho Race. And and I feel like it would be like a, you know, just picture a course with like nachos kind of like everywhere, infinite trick opportunities, and then like maybe the ones with cheese dip on it, like there's like a glider ramp or something. Might have like a slight like salsa theme or like queso and like sour cream garnish like throughout like parts of the course, scattered around and make it more vibrant. Last lap, it could create more havoc and like the course starts rumbling a little bit, like kind of like Grumble Volcano. It would rumble, and then the tortilla chips that are used for the nachos would start to like crack a little bit.
Yeah, I think that's a fun one. I know they've done like the sweets course, I think, from Tour, and then like Cheeseland, of course, is one that's been around for a while. So food courses, no stranger to that. I think that's not just with so many different ingredients. There's a lot you can do there, especially after having the bathroom-based course. I think having one just anything like kitchen-based, like kind of going through the kitchen and kind of like driving along that sort of, you know, nacho making process.
And then the last one I got for this cup, it's I called it Birdo Burrow. You know, there's always like a few courses that like have like a similar sounding name. So image I have in my mind, I don't know why, I just like think of like from Winnie the Pooh, like the character Rabbit and like his little hole and stuff. And like there's two little entrances, the one that Winnie the Pooh always gets stuck in, and then like the main one that you're supposed to go through. Maybe you go in through one like way styled like that, and then like the out through the other. Like different color birdos down there just like enjoying their time. Maybe if you get like too deep in there, like it's like it feels a little bit more eerie, like more brighter as like you get toward the outside. So similar to Yoshi Valley theme on the outside, but the further you get in, almost like a graveyard type of feeling.
Kind of makes me think of like using some Mario 2 assets, like when you have to beat the Birdo at the end of the level, kind of has that little like opening to go to the end of the level. Going into the burrow,
that hawk's mouth like opens.
Yeah,
like, that could be how you get into the burrow.
Right. Maybe if you're in the burrow, kind of a couple more like Mario 2 references, spread the love out to, you know, one of the classics that's probably not as represented in the series.
Yoshi University, Plessy Creek, Nacho Race, and Birdo Burrow. What are you thinking?
Again, some good variety there. I like that, you know, having like at least one or two that's not specifically like character based. I know sometimes they want to go a bit direct, but a lot of the courses will have just like some general idea, like think like Dolphin Shoals. Like that's just, it's not really based on any specific character, just is kind of, they took a theme, made it happen. Being able to throw some creative ideas in there, but still have some of those character-based courses too, I think is a good mix.
I was thinking maybe putting like Yoshi University in the middle. Seems like those middle courses definitely like have the most pop usually, so I don't know.
Yes.
Boot Cup. The first one I got is, I called it Solar Rapids, a solar panel type of race, and like the sun starts to get like hotter and stuff, cross like the solar panels, and then maybe like the tilt of the panels could really change like where the sun is and like maybe obstruct vision a little bit. They haven't really done anything quite like that.
Yeah, solar panel course. It'd be cool. They would almost for sure have to do the angry sun as the sun. That'd be perfect. With the wider courses that we're going to have with the potential of 24 racers. Interesting to see if they did something like that. How further out you'd be able to see like where you're able to drive and not drive with the way that the panels change.
I don't know. Like it could make things harder in the last lap.
Yeah, absolutely.
The second one, I really like the second one's idea. It would just be out of the blue, random, not totally random, but it would just be like a weird choice. But Chuck's Locker Room is what I called it. And so, as you could probably imagine, themed after the Charging Chucks, it would start everyone at the end zone on a football field, and then maybe it'd like wrap through the football field, back around like maybe like a track around it. You go through the locker room, and like there's like maybe you go through the winning and the losing locker room, and like there's Charging Chucks in there, like they could run into you or something if you get too close. Maybe there's one that's like blocking a shortcut, like a glider ramp or something through a locker. I feel like there's just so many things they could do there that would really like set it apart from anything we've seen.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Chuck's Locker Room. I was trying to think of different, I don't know, obscure characters, but just different characters to make courses off of, and that would be fantastic. Charging Chuck's Locker Room. Maybe the first lap they're like playing on the field and you have to kind of maneuver through them, and then once the laps get going, it's like the end of the game, and then they're in the locker room. You go through the winning locker room in the second lap, the losing locker room in the third lap, and they're all just angry and they all start trying to hit you. That'd be great.
Maybe like one of the locker rooms has the Chucks in it, the other one's empty, but once you come out of the empty one, like the field changes. So like you got the Chucks like that move into the locker room, and then like the other ones like come out in the field. I don't know, something like that.
Yeah, maybe it starts out in like, we could say it's like an outdoor stadium, and it starts out in the daytime, and as it goes along we get into nighttime. We know in Sunset Wilds in the remake they failed to do the sunset in that game, so maybe they have a chance to redeem themselves here.
It would be a cool one for sure. The third one I have here is, I called it Toad Carnival. Very similar to what you saw, like, I guess, in Super Mario 3D World, where there's all those carnival levels. Pretty much would just be, filled with toads everywhere. You'd have, like, the Ferris wheel, maybe some, like, typical fair games and stuff, and then, like, a couple rides. They could even add in the Wiggler coaster from, like, Mario Slugger's story mode. I think that would be a cool touch. I think it would just be a pretty fun one.
In Mario Kart, they really haven't done a lot of circus courses, if any.
I don't think so.
Yeah, so that would absolutely be fantastic. I mean, those levels in 3D World were a ton of fun. There was just a nice vibe to them, so that'd be great if they made that a course for sure.
Wrap it up here. I put dry bogland. Usually it's a dry type of course, like there's bone dry dunes, dry ruins, dry desert. This one though would be a little bit more of a mossy course, and then like maybe like there's bones like that you can trick on, like in like a swampy area, maybe like piranha plants, like that purple goo from like World 5 of New Super Mario Bros. Wii. They could put all that together. I think there'd be a lot of opportunities to like trick and go underwater. Maybe when you even go underwater, because it's so like mossy and thick, it slows you down a little bit and you might need a boost to really get through it or something.
A desert course would be great. That would definitely be a lot of fun.
With those four right there, we got Solar Rapids, Chuck's Locker Room, the Toad Carnival, and Dry Bogland. What are you thinking from those? Are there any twists that you would add to any of them, or what do you think?
Twists I would add? I don't know. I just really like the back-to-back Locker Room and Carnival, and that's awesome.
That's definitely like my same thought process on this. I mean, the Solar Rapids one would still be fun too, but I think like definitely like you'd have back-to-back heavy hitters in Chuck's Locker Room and Toad Carnival. That would be cool.
Yeah, and stuff that's new, like Solar Rapids would be a new take, on things as well.
For sure. The Elephant Cup. The first one I have in here, I called it Toadette Express. Hints of the Shy Guy Express course on Mario Party 8, where you have to go through the train, get a star, go over top of the train. But it would kind of be pink and purple to match like Toadette. Maybe if they still bring back anti-gravity, it's like anti-gravity when you go over the top of it at the back. The other thing is like Toadette really doesn't have a course. I feel like she's one of the more notable characters that's never gotten a course.
Yeah, she really hasn't gotten a course before. That would be great. That was kind of taking me back to Paper Mario the Thousand Year Door, the train chapter. Absolutely my favorite chapter. And I was thinking, what if they did some sort of thing where the first lap you are on, you're on the train. Then maybe to go into the second lap, you take a break at a train station, drive through it a little bit to get back onto the train for the third lap.
I like that. I think honestly too, they could do something where it's like you're on the first train and then they stop at the station. That's like the second lap or second section, and then maybe the third lap they get on a different train, or like there's different like things they could go on or something.
They did like a Toadette train for the first train, then you stop at kind of like just a normal station, and then you end up on some sort of evil train, in the last lap or something. Just completely change it up.
To follow that up, the second one, Purple Fairway. I feel like one of the courses from Mario Kart 8 Deluxe that really stood out was Electrodrome. I think it was probably maybe the best new course they added. This would be more so like an outdoor golf course that's kind of like bouncing a little bit, like maybe like the hills bounce a little, like the Wonder Flowers activated in Mario Wonder. Maybe it would even be a great call to action, like to put some of like the Mario Golf like elements like in the background. It could like tease that like a new game or something. Cut through like water at points, and then like maybe they even have to drive through the hole or something if they were like shrunk down on like a huge playing field. I don't know.
I am very intrigued with a potential Mario Wonder sort of kick on things where you change or maybe that's an item. A new item that they add where you do a Wonder Flower and something random happens. A golf setting, that'd be cool. Even if it was like some sort of neon type thing, that would be cool with those background elements as well.
The third course I have, now this has actually existed before as an actual battle stage. Always saw it, and I'm like, I feel like if they just twisted a few things, this would be one of the coolest courses, especially for trick opportunities. Funky Stadium from the Wii. When you start off like on that high part, and then like you kind of like jump in like through the boost panel or whatever, and then there's just so many things you could trick off of. It almost feels like you're in like a monster truck stadium or something like that. They could do some like winding turns, maybe like a toilet bowl like exit like as you leave or something. I feel like there's just a lot of space that they could do so many things. Maybe kind of like the Excite Bike Arena course too. I just think that there's so many things they could do with that one.
Yeah, they're in need of a new good stadium course.
Yeah.
It's even in like Mario Kart 8, there's, they put in both Wario and Waluigi Stadium, which are cool classics. Excite Bike Arena you mentioned, but that's one of those, just circular kind of courses. So it'd be great if we had a new stadium, and Funky Stadium would be awesome. It'd be great to see if Funky Kong, get his own course, considering, like in Mario Kart Wii, he's like the most overpowered character with the Flame Runner. So yeah, that would definitely be awesome if we could get a Funky Stadium return as an actual course. That'd be great.
The last one I have here, it's actually, kind of fitting, with our passion for basketball. I called it Hardwood Splash. So this would kind of actually just be like an outdoor, like basketball themed course, but there would be like splash pads like in the middle of it too. Kind of trick off the splash pads, maybe the sprinklers that could like slow you down around it. Kind of like I guess like a kid's play place or something like that, but it would have like, it would be like a full basketball court as well. Maybe there's even like a part where like if you do your drift the right way on like maybe one turn, maybe it like shows a hand in the background that like shoots a basketball hoop, and then it like knocks down like an item for you to get, like a free item that's not on the course. I don't know. I think it'd be cool.
That would definitely be fun as well, to have like a little like a basketball play park. That'd be a cool course.
With those courses in mind, the Toadette Express, the Purple Fairway, Funky Stadium, and Hardwood Splash.
I like it a lot. I'm very intrigued with the train idea. I don't know what, in Mario, trains, I just have a soft spot for them. So I love that course, and that sounds like a fun cup.
The Golden Dash Cup. The first one that I got here, Toad Town, capital city of the Mushroom Kingdom. It's known mostly in Paper Mario, and it wouldn't really be like maybe a super long course, which is why I have it as like the cup opener, but a lot of houses and then like maybe the floor. I feel like it'd be really easy to do that because it's very similar to like the 3DS course for Daisy Hills, like the post office, variety of different huts. Maybe you can go through a couple of them for shortcut potential. I feel like it'd be a pretty chill course though.
I know if they did it, they would probably choose the Origami King, but I feel like the Paper Mario 64 Toad Town is so iconic. You could take either of those, and I think just having a course kind of in that Paper Mario art style, even if everything's 3D assets, but just kind of like that paper, like crafty look, kind of went along with like some of my ideas that I was kind of like brainstorming on, whether it was something more Paper Mario based or even like a Yoshi's Crafted World type deal, or just different things like that. I think just having something with that art style and aesthetic is something that they haven't done a ton of, and I think there's a lot that it can be worked with there.
That'd be interesting to see too if they like do anything with like the characters and like making them more of a paper aesthetic because it's raised there. The second one, this would be one of those courses everyone would remember playing and hoping they could get first at one point because it'd just be so annoying. I called it Fountain Freeway. Somewhat of like a sunset like vibe, like it almost like Sunset Wild, but there'd be like slick spots, there'd be puddles, there'd be cars on the road. Even the cars on the road wouldn't be immune to the slick spots, kind of sliding around out of nowhere. So like in Toad's Turnpike, where like they're all in the same lane, you might veer off into like a different lane and you don't really know how. I feel like the cars really play a part here, and I think it should be raining in this course because I feel like the only real course where it's like rain was a big element was like Luigi's Circuit on the Game Boy. Bringing back some of those things together into this one, I think it would be a very annoying but fun course to play.
It's the chaos, and especially this being kind of the Golden Dash Cup, like you kind of want something, it's kind of that like come from behind in the middle of the pack. That's what you're thinking when you get that. So being able to have something so just rage-inducing potentially when you're doing that couch co-op, I think that's one that would be very memorable.
This third course, I feel like this third course might be the best course in this cup. One of the most iconic courses you think of is Waluigi Pinball. Mario Kart DS came out in 2005. It's 2025. It's been 20 years. If the game came out this year, it'd be the 20th anniversary of Waluigi Pinball, so I feel like it's time for Waluigi to have another course. I named this one Waluigi Bounce, a trampoline park as a course. So like pretty much like you could imagine like Sky Zone, and like you have like the basketball hoops, the foam pit, the dodgeball, the obstacle course, the rock climbing wall, and you have to make your way kind of through all of it, but it'd all be themed after Waluigi. I think it would be really cool to have like a trampoline themed course, and I feel like it would instantly be a hit.
Yeah, I mean, they are characters that I think they just do some random ideas with a lot of the time. Like, you know, like you mentioned, like a pinball machine, or I guess the Wario's gold mine is kind of the iconic one because it makes sense. But then like Mount Wario, like what's the correlation here? Being able to kind of have that trampoline park idea and tie it in with a character who sometimes they do more of those out there ideas. I think that is probably the best fitting character for an idea like that.
Just the last one we got in this cup here, Cap Kingdom. I think it'd be cool to be able to race around Cap Kingdom. Easy spots to trick on. There's like a little bumps like on the walkway that goes from one part to the other. You know, maybe you can go inside like that, you know, big tower with the top hat on it. Maybe like it's like you got to work your way up and then you got to go off a glider. Maybe there's like a section where similar to like the Yoshi's Island course that they brought on tour in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, where near the end, if you drive into like that question cloud, like there's a shortcut, glide into a power moon, like it creates a shortcut for the end of the course too, to the very beginning. I feel like it'd be kind of cool.
As far as like the aesthetic goes, I think that'd be one that there's not really a lot that can match that kind of that foggy, like very black and white. I mean, you think it's a very colorful series, colorful game. So being able to have something that kind of shifts that into a different tone, I think is cool. They just have to get really creative because it is a smaller location in the game. Tie it in with like the inside of the tower and everything. And then being able to kind of like glide there at the end, like you mentioned, kind of take it back around. I think they could definitely make something work there.
I think that we want some Odyssey representation in, you know, Mario Kart a little bit more, or just in Mario games in general more, and like this would be a good opportunity to do it with a course like that. So here we got Toad Town, Fountain Freeway, Waluigi Bounce, and the Cap Kingdom. What are we thinking for the Golden Dash Cup?
I think this is probably the best one so far, as far as, you know, just having the super chaotic course and then just the super fun vibe of like the trampoline park and just how many kind of tricks and fun things and just the course construction you could do there. End it out on that note with the Odyssey representation. Good work on this one.
I appreciate it. Much as I haven't really been saying which courses would have sections and which one would just be like 3 laps of kind of the same thing, like this would definitely be a cup that could pass as like 3 laps of the same thing and work out well, and it really would always be entertaining. Like you probably wouldn't even get bored playing it. In the Propeller Cup, I called it Brief Bull Rush. And so this would kind of be based off the Bull Rush level from Super Mario Wonder. There's really not a whole lot to say here, but it would hopefully like kind of mirror that level and then really bring in a lot of the enemies that you see and like some of the like supporting characters from Mario Wonder. Obviously, we've never seen them brought into a Mario Kart before. I think it would be cool maybe if like the bulls acted like cars on a road, like you see like in Toad's Turnpike or like Moonview Highway maybe. Then maybe there could even be a section where like you have to like ride on top of the bulls, like how you have to ride on like the eel, like in Dolphin Shoals or something.
And on the bulls in Wonder.
Yeah.
At one of the Wonder Seed things. Yeah.
But yeah, so that's the opening one, and I called it Brief Bull Rush because it wouldn't be like a long course, which I think makes it suitable to be the first course in the Cup.
Yeah, I like that one.
Now this one's interesting. I called it Pokey Pokey Panic. Okay. So, and the reason I called it that is because Super Mario Bros. 2 Doki Doki Panic in Japan, like the original version, this would also be themed after the Pokey. A lot of those ones, like there'd be like the desert themed Pokey, there'd be like the mummy Pokeys, maybe like green Pokey, which is like one of the first ones. Light fire section with like the red Pokey. Maybe there's like a snow world part. Like maybe this one could be more so like sections rather than like 3 laps. A Magikoopa or something that's like kind of like uses his wand on the Pokeys and they like splatter everywhere. I think it could definitely cause some havoc on the road.
Yeah, that's cool because you really don't see too many levels themed around them except for like Dry Desert where they're present. It's not like an entire theme around them, you know?
There needs to be like more random enemy courses. You know what I mean? Like there's just like something that's like out of the blue and like who knows? I mean, maybe it gives them a chance to be a playable character one day or something. Yeah. So, like Ninja and like Jamboree, new Mario Golf and stuff like that. Like he was like forgotten about for so long. The third one though that I have, but I called it Koopaling Cinema. And so the 7 Koopalings, like, you know, they've been Mario characters in Super Mario Bros. 3. I know some people, like maybe from what I've seen, they weren't fond of them in the recent Mario Kart. They were kind of like, these guys are old. They're taking up roster spots. But I feel like if you gave them this kind of cinema theme. Treat it like how like the Muppets movies and like the theater that like they have going on there. You could have like a popcorn stand, like where one of the Koopalings is working behind, the arcade where another Koopaling is playing, like air hockey, lounge seating, like basically everything you see like in a movie theater.
Yeah,
I feel like
that's
it'd
a
have
good
a
idea.
lot of potential.
Yeah, I really like that one, especially with all the Koopalings. I was thinking about, for when I was just brainstorming my ideas, how to incorporate a course with all the Koopalings in it, you know, make a theme like that. But it didn't make it into my final cut of courses. So it's cool that you thought of one as well.
Definitely,
And that's a
like,
good idea.
This whole like Propeller Cup, you'll see, I mean, with the last one too, but it's like very much like lesser known characters like getting a chance to have their course.
Yeah, that's cool.
The last one that I have here, but I called this one Moly Night. So as you can guess by the
Monty.
name, themed after, yes sir, Monty Mole. This is actually like the name of a level I created on Super Mario Maker 2, where it was like kind of like a brown hilly course at nighttime with like big Monty moles like coming down. I feel like it'd be cool to bring something into there like that. You haven't really seen a Monty Mole like influence on the course since like I think Moo Moo Farm, and that was on like Mario Kart 64. I think it'd be kind of cool. Maybe you could even ride on them like you do like the bulls like earlier in this cup. You know, kind of thinking of it like, you know, like Super Mario Bros. 3. Like I think it was like the second level. It's like constantly like up and down, up and down. It would kind of be like that, but it's like nighttime, and then you have Monty Moles. So
Yeah, I like Monty Mole a lot. So yeah, I'm glad he was in the Mario Party game. I like using him. Isn't he in like Moo Moo Meadows? As he's in there, he's in Moo Moo Meadows.
I think he is, but he's not like an on the course thing because I know they have the cows.
Yeah, he like digs tunnels and like shoots out of the ground. You could like trick off of his tunnels, and then
Oh, you're right. Yeah, he does actually. I didn't
And
even
there-
think about that's like the second half of the course. Yeah.
isn't there's a Mario Kart DS course that it's like a Bowser's Castle or something where he's shooting projectiles at you and then hiding under his thing.
Might be like I think that would be like the Rocky Wrench because it's like, but they're like the same family.
Yes,
but-
yeah, I think that sounds about right.
I mean, even then, still, I mean, there's probably been like what 200 something courses in Mario Kart.
Oh yeah,
and
yeah.
like,
I was just trying to think of anything I could think of where he was.
I mean, yeah, I feel like we need
'Cause
one
I
that's
like
like themed around Monty Mole. You know what I mean? I
Yeah,
feel like
yeah,
that'd be kind of crazy. In the Propeller Cup, Brief Bull Rush, Pokey Pokey Panic. We got the Koopaling Cinema, and then Moly Night.
I really like I think my favorite one of them is the Pokey one because just it sounds cool, like themed all around those guys. Because yeah, like you said, they haven't made like a star appearance in much of anything.
I mean, I don't know what your thoughts are on the desert levels, but I feel like most people don't really enjoy them as much. Like
They're just kind of They're
Yeah,
like
so-
eh.
So I feel like just finding ways to like make a desert level that's enjoyable, and like maybe you get the pokies here, you put a few new enemies, but nothing that's like too dry, too bland.
I like it, and it also got me thinking. Pokey just got me on thinking of Pokemon.
Like some DLC maybe or something.
Yeah, some DLC, but like Smash Ultimate rosters. I don't want to say perfect, but I mean it's pretty good.
Used to be, I don't know how, I mean, you probably won't get like the full Smash roster, but you might get like some guys like from each.
Yeah,
Lucky Cat Cup. I feel like you'll really appreciate this. It's just simply Peach's Castle. We get to actually
man.
drive through Peach's Castle and like all the paintings from Mario 64. Maybe go upstairs, downstairs, the backyard with like the booze, and like maybe you can go on the roof and see like Yoshi, the cannon in the front. Like there's just so many things that you can find from Peach's Castle. It could even be a 3-parter just because like it could be a longer course, but we kind of raced through it in like the Mario circuit on Mario Kart 7, but that doesn't count. It was just like a spin. Like we want to actually see Peach's inside of the castle.
Exactly. That was actually one of the courses I had prepared, was a Peach's Castle, because, dude, how have we never had a course where we actually drive through her castle? Like you mentioned, besides Mario Circuit, Mario Kart 7, where it's just nothing. That's basically a poor excuse of that. We need something. We need a Peach's Castle to actually drive through. That would be awesome. You know, I'm a huge proponent, you know, this may be an unpopular opinion, but since we've steered away, you know, as Mario has evolved, we've kind of steered away from the Mushroom Kingdom roots of things, trying to find all these different areas. And I want to see Nintendo kind of go back to the roots a little bit. Peach's Castle would be great, you know, because I guess the only other part of it was you can see the castle in a Royal Raceway in a Mario Kart 64, but you can't go in it. So I'd love to see, you know, a full thing where you can go in and explore. Maybe you can teleport through paintings. That would be amazing.
The second one that I got here, crazy character to give a course to, but hey, we're swinging for the fences here. This is Big Bertha's Cove. And
oh my goodness.
And
wow.
so the Big Bertha from Super Mario Bros. 3. If you notice, there's a lot of Super Mario Bros. 3 representation. I mean, that is my favorite game. You know, it's just, I feel like it'd be funny. Like, it'd be like the Piranha Plant Cove that we got recently, but I think maybe more like a brighter underwater vibes, like the 3DS Cheap Lagoon course. I think maybe at the end, like, the Big Bertha could strike depending on, like, where you are, like the Bowser fist from like the Mario Kart 8 could act like the Master Hand from like Super Mario 64 as well, where she just like shoots out of nowhere like at a like insane speed. So it'd definitely be one that would catch people off guard and they'd be like, well, I would have never thought of it. Or, I don't know.
Yeah, no, look, Piranha Plant Cove, it was a hidden gem in that DLC. I honestly really liked it. That's going to be a course that is probably going to be forgotten in the course of history. Yeah. But I really liked it. I would love to. Big Bertha's Cove. That would be some callback right there. That'd be awesome. I love it when Nintendo does stuff like that.
Got to give Big Bertha her respect, you know?
Yeah.
Now, the third one, you know, speaking of another callback, a former game, Wario Woods. Now, this is a game. It was on the NES, SNES. There's not really a whole lot of woods themed courses, especially that I picked in this group, and like really incorporate like some camping elements in this one. I think that they could also put like maybe puzzle sections near the end, because that is kind of like the theme of the game. Toads in there, that could be Birdos in there, because those guys, both of them were also you know, in the game of Wario Woods. And like maybe like the turns could also feel like Vancouver Velocity a little bit, like when you make that like one turn and it's like a trees around the side. Like there's so much that I feel like could be utilized in this thing.
Yeah, and that'd be another great callback, Wario Woods, because yeah, you're right, we haven't, I mean, there's just a whole lot of things that we really didn't get a whole lot of in Mario Kart 8, despite it being such a huge game, and Woods being one of them. I mean, Wild Woods was a great course. We didn't really get a whole lot of other, you know, crazy courses. So yeah, that'd be great, and have some sort of puzzle aspects. That maybe there's potential in this game where we do have an adventure mode, a mission mode, from kind of what we saw in the trailer. That would be a great area to have a mission or two.
And then the last one I got here, and he's had his own fair share of kart racers himself, Diddy Kong Skate Park.
Oh, I like it.
Imagining like a skate park course where there's so many trick opportunities, just like Funky Stadium, like I said. Maybe like you can like glide off the top, and like you can do tricks off the rails and stuff like that too. You know, maybe there's one part where you're driving really close to the fans and you see like a bunch of Shy Guys and stuff cheering, and Piantas and Toads, and I don't know, I think it'd be cool.
Yeah, and I'm trying to, so with it being Diddy Kong's skate park, I'm trying to think, what is the name of those like little monkeys?
The Okikis?
The Okikis, that's it.
Yeah.
Those, if we could have some Okikis just skating on the skate park in the Diddy Kong course, that would be great.
Yeah, that would be a good touch right there. Maybe like there's just like a giant banana peel somewhere in there. Like, I don't know. I feel like it would really like set the tone. Maybe like you gotta curl through like the banana, like all three parts of the banana peel. Like you gotta go around this way, then like this way, then the way other. So I don't know.
And I think it would fit. I mean, there's this. I mean, he has his Diddy Kong hat there. He seems like a a hip guy. Yeah. That would make a lot of sense.
Got Peach's Castle, Big Bertha's Cove, Wario Woods, and the Diddy Kong Skate Park.
Love it. Man, there are definitely a lot of heavy hitters in that one. It got better as we moved along.
The Cloud Cup. The first one I have on here, I called it Turnip Gardens. Some of the elements from the Birdo Burrow course could be used here, especially. Like I just get the vibe of like the intro levels or the intro world to Super Mario Bros. 2. Like Shy Guy, Bob-ombs, the Pokies and stuff. Maybe like the Cobrat or like Mauser, the Fanto. Like if you go through like maybe like there's like a hole where like a turnip is like taken out of, and you got to go into like a underground thing that feels like those pyramid things where it's like if you stole the key, the Fanto would chase you. And there could even be like an appearance from Wart.
Make Wart playable. That's I think that really tie a bow on that one. I think they do a lot of like course ideas that are based on like that kind of first 3 or 4 games, like the first Super Mario Bros. 2 world. But I think there's just so much untapped potential.
Second one I have on here, I called it Frozen Voyage. I'm just thinking of, you know, the Frozen Village, which I feel like is one of the top courses from Diddy Kong Racing. This one wouldn't really be like Christmas themed at all. Like I'm thinking more like ice skating, you know, maybe like icicles, sledding, like houses that are just like absolutely like caked in snow. I feel like it'd be a very Hallmark movie type of course, and like you'd have maybe like blue and white lights around like the city and stuff. I feel like it'd definitely be an interesting course, and there'd be ice around it as well. Maybe a little bit similar to like Rosalina's Ice World, like that we saw like a couple games back.
Like you mentioned, it's sort of traditional for them to have a course of that general scheme and vibe, like you mentioned with the Ice World, like Sherbert Land, just different courses throughout the history of the series that kind of hold on to an idea like that, taking a tradition but keeping it new.
These last two I think you're really gonna like. Bob-on Battlefield, I feel like it's time. There's been so many, you know, mods created like in Mario Kart where it's like you're able to drive like all the way up. I feel like it would just give us a chance to finally do like the Koopa the Quick challenge, like with actual Mario Kart courses, and then maybe like you can cannon like top, and then maybe you got to work your way back down to the cannon, or they could just, you know, start and go all the way to the top. It could be a 3-parter, and then like once you get to the very top, like that's the end. Something like that I feel like would be cool.
Yeah, I think that's one where you could really experiment with kind of the course hazards, just whether it's, you know, parachuting bob-ombs coming down, or just having some of the launchers that, I guess the launchers are probably more like Mario Galaxy, but just like having the bombs like shooting onto the course, just having like the red ones everywhere, the black ones everywhere, kind of having like that Battlefield, if you say, kind of come to life more than maybe it could in 1996.
And maybe even the chain chomp gets a little crazy. So
they are good for a good chain chop, usually at least one per game, usually one chain chop course.
The last course that I have on here, I do think you'll like this one too, because this is also a place in a Mario game, Gad's Lab, and it would be pretty much themed after Professor Egad from the Luigi's Mansion series, because I feel like we've seen like, you know, his laboratory, and like you get to see like all the monitors and like kind of his creations and stuff like that, but like you would actually get to race around through it. Maybe there'd be like some ghosts on the outside like trying to peek in and stuff like that. A little bit of a haunted theme, which is why I kind of have it at the end. There could be like some golden goobs or like the purple puncher ghosts and stuff like that around there too. I feel like it would definitely be one that people would be like, oh yeah, like that was a perfect theme to pick.
I'm surprised. That sounds like it's something that should have been around by like Double Dash, similar to like the Pianta thing you had before, like bringing back some of it. I feel like in the GameCube era they kind of had some more out there ideas, kind of bring those back, put a modern spin on them, especially with the success of Luigi's Mansion 3 since we've had the last Mario Kart. Definitely a good way to finish off the cut. That's one that there's just so much you could do. I feel like they always have these like wacky ideas. That's really the best way to describe it. And something like a lab, there's just, I mean, infinite things you could come up with.
Turnip Gardens, Frozen Voyage, Bob-on Battlefield, and Gad's Lab. What are we thinking there?
I think some really good callbacks in there. Just kind of, like I said earlier, maintain the traditions, do something new with it, or, you know, throw back to the classics. Super Mario Bros. 2, something we haven't touched in a while. Taking like the Gad's Lab, which we first saw back in 2001, and bringing that into a modern context. Like, I think that's one too. The older fans of the series would really, I think, grasp onto that one.
The Drill Cup. The first one I got here, Petey's Beanstalk. So this would be themed after Petey Piranha, who pretty much is like a tall plant character in himself, but you know, he pretty much has the hands already of like stepping pads on a beanstalk. Him being the host of a beanstalk level it wouldn't only be fitting, but it would also be kind of funny. It could also be maybe a callback to like when he debuted on Mario Sunshine, you know, Sky Garden feel, or like Cloud Top Cruise, where like the beanstalk goes over the clouds maybe, and it shows progression like going from the ground up.
I like it, yeah.
The second one we got is Ace Entrance. Now this one would be, I guess, a little bit more similar to the Luigi's Casino thing. It would be like a card playing table, similar like a shuffleboard battle mini game on Mario Party DS. Pick off like ramps of the cards, and maybe like the more valuable cards like you bounce off of, like you would get a like a bigger boost or something. You could also just, I mean, just for the sake of like not promoting gambling. Like if you trick off like a Mario card, like you get a huge boost. If you trick off a Bowser card, like you fall through it or something. You know what I mean? Maybe you could also like disguise, like race around like what would be like poker chips, but really like coins. You know, I think it'd be a neat one.
I think so too.
The third one I got here now. Donkey Kong always has a course. I named this one DK Jamba. And so basically what it would be is kind of like a smoothery. Like it would be like a smoothie shop, and like maybe it'd be like very banana themed and coconut themed, which kind of goes hand in hand with like Donkey Kong. You'd have like barrel seats, like a barrel like smoothie maker thing, and then it could say like the Kong letters on the front, like the Coconut Mall banner. So gives DK something unique.
Yeah, I like that one a lot. Yeah, that's a great one.
And then the last one I got here, I feel like we need to see something like this. I called it Nabbit Wonderland. And, you know, Nabbit, been around for more than a decade now. I feel like it's not only is he good enough to be a character in this game, but I feel like he's also good enough to even have a course. This is a character who, like, we don't really even know, like, where he came from. Like, he just came out of nowhere, right? So it would kind of be like Rabbids theme of a course, but with like more so Nabbit as like the focal point. I could give him a little personality. Maybe there's even like different colored Nabbits too, because we've only seen the purple one, but maybe it's like a Yoshi or a Toad or a Birdo, where it's like there's different colored Nabbits. Could be neat.
Okay, yeah. Nabbit is a good mention. I totally slipped my mind when thinking about it, but yeah, like you said, he's obscure, so he would fit well in the Propeller Cup as well.
Yeah. It's a good point. I think though too, it's like he's one of those obscure players. Like he's not like a main character yet, or maybe will never be. But he's just one of the characters I feel like almost everyone likes. You know?
Yeah. I feel like you could swap this one for the Koopaling.
Yeah.
You could.
I can see that.
Yeah, because I feel like they're less more known. I was gonna say less obscure.
No, that's a good point. I guess you were saying like put more obscure ones in that other cup.
In the Propeller Cup, yeah.
Because that is what we did have. But with these 4 courses, again, like with the Petey's Beanstalk, the Ace Entrance, DK Jamba, and Nabbit Wonderland, is there anything I didn't touch on that maybe you'd want to see out of like some themed courses like this?
No, I like the tropical smoothie aspect of the DK one, and then all the other ones sound good.
You mentioned a good point with the DK Jamba, you know, especially with Tropical Freeze coming out recently, like the HD version of Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. Maybe like a frozen drink style for a course like this, like maybe makes a little sense for Donkey Kong.
Sure, yeah. All right, so I came up with Sonic courses, just because I feel like Mario Sonic at the Olympic Games, you know, that's already been a kind of collab. So I thought like an Eggman's lair, like for like some of the later levels in some of the Sonic games, you get to run around Eggman's like headquarters. They're like all futuristic and in space and stuff. And I feel like it would be a good level for Mario Karts to drive around. And you could have the Sonic coins as the coins instead, just like how the Animal Crossing level and Zelda level have different styled coins.
And so like Eggman's Lair, I think that's a really good one too, especially like in the theme of DLC as well, because it's like, you know, I feel like there's a lot they could do with that. And there's another course actually that I'm going to show you here in a sec that I guess it's kind of similar to that, but it's like with a different game. So I think like you bring in like Eggman and like kind of a lot of the enemies from like Sonic, the Omega guy from like the Mario and Sonic games. That's who I think of like all the time when I'm thinking of like some like mortal enemies. Maybe he makes an appearance. So maybe like there's a little shadow like snippet or something like in there.
Yeah, I think is a nice touch. And then, like I said, maybe an Olympic Games themed course, you know, where you just like drive around the Olympic Stadium to all the different field events, maybe, you know, track and field, like in that sort of stadium.
I will say with that one too, I mean, that's like, so like, I guess like your mindset was like for a track, like have it around like a track kind of or something like that.
Yeah. And you know how like at the Olympics, there's like at the track, there's like long jumps over here, and then you have like hurdles over there, and then you have like, you know, it's all like segmented off into different areas.
Yeah, that would be cool, like actually. And I think honestly that one could be, I mean, it's probably still a small enough space just on a track where you could do it all like 3 laps of the same, but you could even do like segments with that. Like maybe you're doing like javelin throw, hammer toss like in one part. Then you're doing like long jump, triple jump, and then
you can make it different laps, you know, like lap 1 is like this section, lap 2 is, you know, this other section, sort of like just a different thing on each lap.
Yeah, I like that.
My third idea was, I know we already have a Rosalina themed ice world, but at least I don't remember seeing anything specifically Rosalina themed like in that level. Is just penguins and ice.
Yeah.
You know, so I'd like to see like a Rosalina's castle where you like go into the castle, you know, drive around the icy castle. I feel like would be cool. Some rainbows and stuff because I think she's kind of associated with Rainbow Road. I'll be honest, those are like the three that made my final cut. I had another course which actually was Pac-Man related, like a Pac-Man course. Like I was thinking like maybe like on each lap you could have a different one of the ghosts chasing you or somehow implement the ghost chasing the carts into the equation. I didn't know because if Pac-Man would be in Mario, but I guess you could say the same thing for Sonic, but I know they already did a collab, you know, Sonic at the Olympic Games, so that's why I figured that one was free, so to speak.
I think like that one could be like a Pac-Man chase or something like.
Yeah, like where it takes place like in the arcade style, you know,
Yeah.
machine. Like that'd be sick.
That would be neat, especially if there's DLC and Pac-Man's a character. I think that would warrant a spot. Yeah, and then like I said, like your Olympic like palace idea, like I think that would be cool. Like it's definitely like would you could even if it had like a way of like going through like the tunnels or something like that, like you could even like spotlight other places in the world that they've had the Olympics. Like maybe it's like Tokyo or Beijing or you know what I mean? Like I think
Sure.
you know, I mean they did that with Tour, so I think that they definitely would have a chance to do it there. Yeah, the Rosalina's castle. When you said that, actually the first thing that came to my mind was Ice King from Adventure Time.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of like the vibe I got. Like I feel like if Rosalina had a castle like that, which I feel like that has a similar like vibe to Mario Galaxy, which is where she like made her debut as well. So maybe we see something like that. I think it would need to be a starry sky for sure. Like another like nighttime theme. Like you said, the Pac-Man chase. That one would be cool because I think like you know how like you have to go through like the Pac-Man course and get all the dots or whatever. But like the bigger dots like turn the ghosts into like weak or something.
They're frozen or whatever.
Yeah, like I would be interested to see like how they incorporate that into you know, something.
The cherries.
Yeah. Like the cherries, stuff like that, like how they'd incorporate that as like a boost. Maybe it gives you like another item, maybe it like opens up a secret pathway or and there would definitely be a lot of ways to go because it's very much like a maze course.
Maybe it would just be like the star, you know, the level. Maybe if it was cherry, it was like, but you'd find them on the ground. Sometimes you get in and be invincible because that's basically what they would do in Pac-Man.
Honestly, you know what I just thought of too when you said that? Like maybe you destroyed that and it would act like when you're in Maple Treeway and you run through like those leaf, sometimes a mushroom or a star comes out. Like maybe it'd be something like that. Like once you run into that. So
Sick.
those are some good ones.
You probably could make a whole Sonic themed cup, like I don't know, the Hedgehog cup.
The Hedgehog Cup, I love it.
I did split them up into cups, like you did. So I have 2 cups here, then kind of a meme one at the end that is just more of a wish than anything. The Cap Cup. So you can probably tell where this is going, but we're going to start off hot. We're going to start off with New Donk Nitro. So I feel like this one pretty much sells itself. The main location in the most recent big game. I feel like you got to do it. It's already roads, metro area. I mean, you could make it laps. You could make it kind of like the tour courses, but the laps might change a little bit each lap just because there are so many different places to go. The music side, I mean, just having that would, I think, be huge as well. Jump Up Superstar Remix or something along those lines.
I like that. And it's actually funny you mentioned that. That's the first one, too, because I actually didn't have like a New Donk City type of theme for any of the courses here. And the only reason I did that is because I mean, I know like there was a lot of city themed ones in Tour. So I was just thinking like maybe like represent like Mario Odyssey in a different way. I do think like that's actually like kind of a cool way to like bring a call back to New Donk City because I think it's one of the most notable places in a Mario game over the last like decade.
Gonna move over to the 2D side for this one. Fungi Forest. This is gonna be based off fungi mines in Mario Wonder. Dark purple, like sort of, I guess they have like the kind of poison forest deal going on in most of the 2D games. But I think the Wonder Worlds just kind of themed it a little bit better, being able to tie in some of that mine side to where you're not just driving through straight like trees with purple around it the whole time. Maybe a little bit more like machinery going on there, some fun things to just be able to drive through. Maybe sort of like some minecart action like you see in a Wario's Gold Mine.
Especially because like with like the purple goo like lava-ish stuff. Like, I mean, we have enough courses. I mean, every Bowser Castle, like, you know, Grumble Volcano, like there's so many things that like have like lava in it, but you don't really see as much of like I'm thinking like World 5 as well, like from the new Super Mario Bros. Wii. Like that's kind of like the same sort of vibe that you get from the Fungi Forest.
Similar to an idea that you gave me, this is Rico Raceway. And you might be able to guess, this is going to be based on Rico Harbor. With this one, you can kind of start at that spawn point, kind of first section, driving up onto that boat there in Rico Harbor. And then from there, I think really the big thing with this one could be all about the girders. Just like the big kind of blue thing where you climb up all the way to the big like yellow structure in the center to get that shine. Just going through that whole section, I think, could lead to a lot of raceway, gliding over the little helipad with Gooper Blooper or whatever it may be.
They're like the most eye-popping in terms of the sunshine. I think like Rico Harbor and like Pinna Park, like those are kind of like the main two I would think of like for that.
With the fitting, you know, Cap Cup, we're gonna bookend it with another Odyssey course, Luncheon Loop. We've had multiple kind of volcano tracks, whether it's DK Mountain or Grumble Volcano, of course. We go to the most unique location in Odyssey. I think that is just one that you could use so much excitement with. Climb up the food sort of to get towards the top of the volcano. I kind of have experimented with that somewhat with like the sweets course. Art style alone could just really help this one stick out to other volcano courses throughout the series.
Like we said earlier, like with the Nacho Race one, I feel like the food courses, like there's so much potential that they could do there. And like even with, I guess like Nacho Race, I don't know why, like the vibe I had for like that one is kind of just like a Chili's, like you're just kind of like at a Chili's table, like racing around. So like this one, I guess would kind of be like a little bit more, you know, adventurous, I would say, like than kind of like being restricted to like a certain area. I think it's a solid cup. I really like it. I think there's definitely Mario Odyssey representation, some Sunshine representation, but a wonder, like you said. So just so many places that they could bring back stuff from that I feel like they gotta, you know, make the most of it.
The Bullet Bill Cup. First one is going to be Lapcat Lane. It's based off Bowser's Fury. This is kind of more of your general water level, more in that 3D world art style. But the one that I think really would make this one stand out is in that third lap. I think once that hits, the music speeds up a little bit. I think you could have it go kind of Fury mode, right? Once that first person passes the finish line, gets to lap 3, goes dark, you kind of see like Fury Bowser pop up in the distance or something, get some fireballs raining down on the course for some extra hazards. With it being a more recent game, I think that's something that could use some representation.
Even the structures like that kind of like lead up to that, like over the lake, like they feel very like Nickelodeon or like SpongeBob-esque. And no shade to them, but they haven't really made a game as good as a Mario Kart to date. So I feel like they could almost like give us a glimpse of like what would actually look good from something similar like that. I think that's a good one.
In every game, there's always a DK course, right? So this time, what is the newest game? Tropical Freeze. I went with Frozen Isle. A lot of the DK courses have kind of been more like snow frozen, both Summit and DK Pass, but on that kind of frozen spin, I think was a creative way for me to kind of get more of a snow level in there. But also work it in with some new source material at the same time.
Add something a little bit different from the Frozen Isle. Like they could even use some elements from Mario and Sonic at the 2010 Olympic Games, because and I say that too because like in the adventure mode, like you actually unlock DK like in the Frozen. I forget what the world is called, but like it's like in the Frozen world, and you gotta like go through like those huts and stuff, which feels very like Donkey Kong style. So I can see them like maybe doing something like that and like putting that twist in there.
Maybe being able to, being able to kind of see some NPCs in the background doing that, I think would add a lot of life to the course. This is going to show some of my biases, but it is Bullet Bill Factory, okay? I'll be honest, I love Toad's Factory. Great course. One of my favorites of all time, takes me back to nostalgia. So I kind of was thinking, what can I do that's sort of similar to that, because they haven't really gave that one much love over the years. Bullet bills are one that haven't really been too directly like bought into. I mean, I know there's like some airship courses and things like that, but really to do something more out there, not something like directly based on a previous level or something. You have all these mechanical things going on, and just the amount of like track hazards that you could have to make this one a little bit more challenging as you're deeper into the cup with just bullet bills flying everywhere. Could have an underwater section where it's like some torpedo Teds are coming after you, and also having a lot of fun hazards to work with.
Makes sense. I mean, it is the Bullet Bill Cup. I also think it's good because I'm pretty sure it is Mario Party 9 where one of the boards is Bob-omb Factory, but it's different. Like it's a little bit different on it. And you see that sometimes where it's like there's a course that's created that's similar to something in the past, but it's a different twist on it, especially if like a Bob-omb Battlefield was added. I mean, Bob-ombs are cool, but they don't need 2 courses. So like we give Bullet Bill the factory, and
This one, my last one, actually stuck out to me while we were talking. And it came to me while you were talking about Toad Town. Got to put Rogueport in here. There is so many fresh things you could do with a Rogueport course. Now that they're actually acknowledging that the 1,000-year door exists, the X-Knots, the little like bandits, you have kind of the sewer section, which is pretty widespread. Something with the general Rogueport idea would tie into a game that they've recently re-released to kind of promote that a little bit more. And there's just a lot of different characters that are going to be represented in that might not be in the other courses.
Star Road, it feels kind of like a part of that, you know what I mean? It also really, I feel like Rogueport also like has, reminds me of like the Super Paper Mario, which is like the first one that I actually played growing up. So I like the choice. It's a good one.
Super Paper Mario is, imagine they put like a flip side from there in the game. I don't even know how you would conceptualize that, because I mean,
they give Count Bleck a course. That would be
Bleck Castle. Yeah, that game being like just like more of a side scroller, I feel like it's so much harder to kind of figure out how to translate that being both paper and side scroller. Whereas like the other Paper Mario games at least have 3D assets, even if they're in the flat art style.
It's a good course, or a good cup overall, I would say.
Thank you. So
the meme now.
Yes. So they've been getting a lot of Smash Kart allegations, right? This would probably be more DLC based on a character that has had a lot of games directly with Mario.
Oh, I already know where this is going.
That overlap, we are going to Green Hill Circuit.
I knew you were gonna say.
There's just so you don't even need to have like the other Sonic characters can be like a cameo, literally just like in the background of the stage. They don't have to be playable. Not need to have Tails, Knuckles, Shadow, everybody playable. That'd be a little bit too much. We're also going to ignore that Sonic has his own kart racer series, because we know like Sega would not license him since they have their own kind of competitor and all the loop-de-loops. You have like the bridges that have like the enemies kind of flying up. An easy hit. He's an unofficial first-party character. I mean, the Mario and Sonic has been a series for so long. Let's see that go into another spin-off.
And especially too, like, I mean, I personally didn't mind. Like, I actually kind of liked the Sonic and Sega All-Stars games. They were never as good as the Mario Kart series, but they were always kind of fun to play. And usually every single game in that series, there was at least one like Green Hill Zone type of course. So I feel like it makes sense, especially it's like, let's say Sonic was DLC in this game and you could like race as him, and this is a DLC course too. I mean, bring Sonic out of basically like racing retirement, like in a kart. It's just like format, and yeah, I think it'd be cool.
That would be the best one they could do.
Yeah, okay, so I brought in 8 of them. Well, I have a cup with 4 major areas that they could definitely make into, courses. The first one is Mario 64 Bob-omb Battlefield. I mean, that's a classic one. I think that would just be great. There's a lot of different aspects they could do. What if they made a Wampa playable character?
That would be cool,
Or the Bob-omb King or whatever.
King Bomb. But yeah, I mean, he was in a few of the games recently, so I could see it.
Peanut Park from Sunshine would be a fun one, I think. That's another kind of, not really a carnival-esque thing, but you go to a theme park, we have Water Park. Best name ever, by the way.
It really took them a while to come up with that one.
I know, but Peanut Park I think would be fun and a good callback as well. And then Mario Galaxy 1, the Freeze Flame Galaxy, which I think is one of the best galaxies. I think there's a lot of potential for that one. My 4th one, I would honestly be, maybe not shocked, but I'm hoping that we get a New Donk City course for Mario Odyssey, obviously. I think there's just so much potential there that they would have to take advantage of something like that.
With that Classic Cup, I mean, I like the Bob-on Battlefield. It's actually funny because I'm going to, tell you the other 32 courses. That was one of the ideas I did have on there too. For the other 32. I just feel like it makes the most sense. I mean, you see so many like Mario Kart mods where it's like people can race through there and like maybe the chain chomp like can get a little crazy, and then maybe there's one lap where you race underneath like that bridge and then the cannon. I think Pinna Park is a good one. And I was saying like I feel like Rico Harbor and like Pinna Park, those are like the main two that like I feel like need a little bit more love from there. So if we got like a Pinna Park course, I mean, I can already imagine like the, different layouts they could do there.
Funny thing with the Rico Harbor, there is the segment there, or there is one of the shines where you do kind of a race in that little, extra bonus area.
Mm-hmm.
So there's definitely potential for both of those.
I think though as well, like with New Donk City, that's a good one. I didn't have that on there. I just felt like, I mean, it was at the top of my like ideas list, but I just felt like it was, the only thing I'd say with that is how they would just need to make it like a little different from like how the tour courses felt. You know what I mean? Because like I think like New York Minute is maybe like the one I'm like looking at the most, just like making sure it doesn't like have too many like elements from it. But I do think that they can definitely do a lot there. It doesn't like totally look the same anyways. The Freeze Flame Galaxy is the most interesting one I think you picked, because I mean I wasn't really expecting that, but you don't really have like that many like clashing like lava ice like things there. It would definitely like set a new tone for something like we really haven't seen that much in Mario Kart to my knowledge.
I mean, that's just the one that stood out to me the most from probably both of the Galaxy games that could be a legit, Mario Kart course. I mean, what do you think? Are there any other Galaxies that stand out to you that you think could be made into Mario Kart courses?
I'm not 100% sure. I know, like, obviously, like, the Honey Hive one was probably the biggest one. I wouldn't even mind if they did, like, a course on, like, the main, like, terrace. Like, that would be kind of cool.
Oh, dude, if they did a Comet Observatory
Yeah.
course, that would be sick for sure.
That would be kind of nice. And if that were called the Classic Cup, I could see that, like, being, like, maybe the last cup in, like, the game or something,
Yeah, it's an unlockable cup and it's just, like, an 8-bit coin. It's the logo or something.
And I like how you picked it from, like, 4 different 3D Mario games. Like, it was only one per game, so that's cool.
And then my 4, I guess, newer courses, I tried to think of things that Nintendo hasn't done before with Mario Kart. So that's why one of them was Peach's Castle. I added in another one, though, so I do have 4 other new ones. The first one, just throughout, like, Mario Kart 8 and, I guess, the history of Mario Kart, we've seen so many different, areas, obviously. We've seen a mall. We've seen an airport. We've seen, a pinball machine, a stadium. We've seen so much, but yet we have never driven through, like, a restaurant. Why don't we do, like, a Super Spaghetti House or Mario Spaghetti House where you drive through, a dining room with a bunch of, like, toads eating or something, and then you drive through the kitchen, see, a bunch of, maybe it's Toads as well. I'm trying to think of the best character to cook the food as well with Chef's Hat. Lap around and end up back towards the front of the restaurant. I think that'd be a cool idea. Maybe that's a little gimmick that would be thrown into a city course. Either way, I'm just like, man, I would love if we could drive through a restaurant, because I feel like, Mario has so much, Italian ties or whatever, yet we don't have any, like, Italian food in the game or anything like that.
That's true. Yeah, I mean, that's actually a really interesting one. I didn't even think about that, but yeah, like, and the other thing is too, like, Mario, like, it kind of stinks to be Mario sometimes, because like he pretty much just only gets the circuit courses, like Mario Circuit, like year after year. Like, this would actually be something new, I feel like that would add a little bit more to like what he's all about, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it would as well. Something else that I'm not sure if you talked about with the other guests, but in, the 20-second clip that they showed in the trailer, it does say on, at the lap that it is Mario Brothers Circuit. Mm-hmm. So trying to figure out exactly what that course could be, it had very, it gave me very, Cars vibes looking at that course, but I'm excited to see what that one is about too. You know, you mentioned a desert course. There really hasn't been a whole lot of examples of us racing through a pyramid besides like Dry Ruins and Mario Kart Wii. So simple Pokey's Pyramid, where we, you know, drive through a pyramid. In Mario 64, where you go through a pyramid. You know, I think it'd be cool if you could race through an actual pyramid, go through like different layers of it. You go deeper into the pyramid and then kind of shoot yourself back up to the outside, and you have Pokies, you have Dry Bones. Yeah, and more desert courses need some appreciation. And pyramids, like we have a whole lot of desert courses, not a whole lot of actually going in the pyramid.
Yeah.
And then last two, I guess this one may be similar to Ribbon Road. Baby Mario's Playroom, where you drive through a bunch of, you know, maybe you drive past a bunch of toys, you drive through a playroom. I mean, it would be very similar to the newer Ribbon Road version, which is one of my favorites. You know, I think that'd be fun to create like a new sort of playroom. Maybe it includes like a Waluigi pinball machine, or just other sort of things, you know, that kind of combine a bunch of different assets into one.
When I think even of Playroom, like the first Mario character, like just that I think of is like Bowser Jr., just because of that field on Sluggers. And like they could definitely like theme it a little bit like that, so it separate itself from like a baby park necessarily. Last
course, you mentioned Bowser Jr. We really don't have a whole lot of Bowser Jr. courses either. I don't even think we have one. So Bowser Jr.'s Lair. Simple as that. Give Bowser Jr. and the Koopalings a little bit of love. It would not be like a Bowser's Castle kind of course. Maybe you drive through parts of Bowser's Castle where it's, you know, it's literally Bowser Jr.'s lair, where you have to drive past a bunch of maybe the smaller sort of enemies.
Yeah, it's cool that you mentioned that, because I don't think I picked a Bowser Jr. course, but it could even have like a more like popping, I guess, vibe to it than like an actual Bowser Castle. I'm thinking like on Mario Sports Mix, there was one playing court or field or whatever, Bowser Jr. Boulevard. Like, and that one was probably like the best in the game, I would say. So it'd be cool to have that.
Yeah, for sure.
I like that cup as well. I mean, what would we call that? Maybe like the Wonder Cup, maybe.
Wonder Cup, it's a Wonder Flower. I wouldn't be mad at that at all. These are all courses that could just kind of go anywhere. I just tried to think, you know, of some new ideas that they haven't done before. That's kind of where I went with these.
Yeah, no, I like it, especially the Spaghetti House. I think that one is definitely something like we need. Like, it'd be cool.
Okay, I like the Birdo one.
The Birdo Burrow.
Yep. Yeah, there's no Birdo level. Never thought of that.
There is not.
I like the Honey one, actually, because like the Honey Hive, like I feel like a beehive level would be kind of cool. And yeah, and then also the Diddy Kong skate park sounds super cool.
Yeah, I
going over half pipes and stuff.
That one would be crazy. Honestly, like that's
you can make it super crazy with loops and stuff, and
yeah,
all sorts of crazy.
I feel like they should have added that in like Mario Kart Wii, maybe. Like I feel like that would have been cool there, because that's when they came
with
up with
Funky
tricks.
Kong or whatever.
Yeah, maybe even like Funky Kong too.
Funky Kong's skate park.
Yeah, and even like the stadium one that they had in there, I think that they could do a lot of tricks there. Maybe some glider potential. Honey Hive one, the Honey Hive Drive, like. So they did, I don't know if you remember, like on Mario Kart 7, it was a battle stage, like the Honeybee Hive or something like that. But
yeah, no, I never played the battle mode.
Yeah, it's okay. That's why I'm saying, because a lot of people didn't. That's like, I feel like it was just such a miss. It's like, that was going to be my point. This would give it a chance to like actually redeem itself, so it like has
sure,
like a proper,
that's a cool idea.
Yeah,
Koopa Lounge, that's the best. That's the best one. Anything I said, anything you said, that's it. That's the best Mario Party board ever to me.
Koopa Tycoon.
And then adding in Luigi's gambling, come on, man.
That one would be crazy.
And that last Nabbit one, just want to say, I wouldn't be shocked if they did a Rabbids course.
They
and
could.
had a rabbit as like a little guest character, just because I mean they've done 2 of those games now. Peach's Castle is a huge one, just going directly off the source material and just having so much you can kind of do there. You could probably have some great music with that one too. I thought the Honey Hive one, that one is kind of sneaky. There hasn't been a ton of direct Galaxy representation. I feel like they could do a cool thing where you can kind of see Rainbow Road from there. Honey Queen being a playable character that one time was just so strange that Let's just reference that. A lot of food ones, a lot of sports ones. I think that's just kind of some of the ideas that they traditionally will go for pretty often. The library one made me think randomly of Toadsworth. I guess it's just because he's old and has glasses, but when I think like books, I'm like, I feel like that could low-key be a sneaky Toadsworth level if you consider.
I will say, with the Rainbow Road, that being like closer down to the, city, kind of like Double Dash Road was close to Mushroom City.
Mm-hmm.
And that kind of being like a connected world. I hope we get back to that with this game, because that was one of my favorite things about Double Dash, and how like there were so many courses that just seemed like a interconnected world. And it'd be great if we could have something like that. Birdo's burrow is definitely clever. I like that a lot. Toad Town, I would love that. I love the first 2 Paper Mario games. I hope we get something like those soon. Koopaling Cinema sounds fun. A movie theater, that's one that we haven't had before. Turnip Gardens, Frozen Voyage. Gad's Lab would be great if we could have something like Luigi's Mansion. Like, I know I have a friend who loves Luigi's Mansion, and if we could have an EGAD course, oh my goodness, that'd be great. And then the DK's Jamba and Nabbit Wonderland. Those are all fun. I hope that Nintendo, watches this video,
Yeah, I mean, there's just so many ideas, and like I feel like, especially the Gad's Lab one. I mean, it seems like, with maybe the roster could be bigger this time around, and like, obviously people are gonna keep pushing for Luigi's Mansion like stuff in the next Mario Kart. So I feel like it's possible, like we at least get maybe something like that if he's not even a character in there.
Yeah, absolutely.
It seemed like you really liked the Waluigi bounce too.
Yeah, that one's cool. Just because bouncing all around, Waluigi. I don't know if I'd make Waluigi the character, since he already has like Waluigi Pinball, but I don't know. I don't know who else it would be.
It's a very different idea. Like, I think it's
Is there
like
any like bouncy characters that we like bounce off of? Like they're like trampolines.
Yeah, who would that? I'm trying to think who would maybe be the best. I'm trying to think of like Mario Super Slugger. There's one character I think that jumps really high. Or maybe I'm just thinking of like the buddy.
I don't know. That's a good game too, as well as Sluggers. Haven't played that in a while.
Yeah, that's why I think Diamond Drifts is a good one. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like I just think of like the Sky Zone elements, like the foam pit and like the
like the whole
the
trampoline
mini
park
hoop,
idea, like that is that everything about that is top notch. Just I don't know. I feel like there could be a better character, but maybe not. Maybe Waluigi is the way to go. But I feel like there is a more bouncy character we could choose that. Because Waluigi already has some spotlight.
Yeah, it has been a while since he got Waluigi Pinball. I think it's been about 20 years. So like maybe it's like 20th anniversary. But also, like you said, I mean,
that's true.
He even has 2 courses. There's a lot of characters that don't even have 1 course. So maybe we get that. I mean, Bob on Battlefield really hits me like home because like that's one of my favorite games, Super Mario 64. So like I feel like that's been used in a lot of mods for like Mario Kart racing.
Yeah, another one of the ideas I was thinking of when I was thinking of just brainstorming courses was like, the King Bomb that's in like the Mario Kart DS missions.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like if you had like a King Bomb castle, or like a bomb factory in a kid's game,
It's so funny you mentioned that, like the bomb factory. Gabe, one of his new course ideas was Bullet Bill Factory, and then like when he said that, I kind of like brought up to him, I was like, it's kind of similar to like the Bob-omb Factory playing board on Mario Party 9, which I feel like no one remembers just because that game didn't do well. But I feel like, a Bob-omb Factory or Bullet Bill Factory, I think, Toad's Factory was great, and I think it still should be brought back sometime. But there definitely could be like a factory like themed after like a certain enemy.
Bob-ombs for sure would be it, but I don't know if you could have a bomb factory in a kid's game.
Bob-omb Factory.
Yeah, that's true.
And there we go. Maybe
just name it Bomb Factory.
Bomb Factory probably would. But yeah,
the Woods one. That one almost made me think like Captain Toad Treasure Tracker might be able to get an interesting shout. Skate park's a fun idea too, just off tricks. Like, just that one would be so fun to race on. I think that would be infinitely replayable, especially just if you had some different shortcut opportunities with like, I don't know, grinding down a rail or something like that. Have a Cascade Kingdom course. Better have Dino Skip. If you've ever seen a Mario Odyssey speedrun, you know. But yeah, I think a lot of good ideas here. I think most are pretty realistic, all things considered. I think, you know, I wouldn't be shocked if some of them actually were similar to real ones that they put in.
What were some of your favorites from your courses? What were like your top few?
Ooh, that's a good question. I really like, just from the Mushroom Cup, I really like Koopa Lounge. That one was like, you go through Koopa's Tycoon Town and then you see like Luigi playing, because I like literally I can't tell you how many hours I spent playing that Luigi poker game like when I was just younger. Even sometimes I still go back and like play it, but I really like the Luigi library just because I've always had like a thought in my mind of like how that would work for like a library, and like literally like my local library, like I just like try visualizing like a course happening through there, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that'd be great. I wonder if that would be a Luigi library, or like what character that would kind of go to.
My friend Zander, who's also in this, he suggested maybe if not Luigi, it would be Kamek would be a good one too. So.
Oh, that would be good. That'd be very good. Like Magic Koopa's library, or Kamek's library. That'd be great.
Like the Chuck's Locker Room I gave you. Yoshi University, Nacho Race, those are some good ones. Funky Stadium, I just really want to see that as like an actual course, you know?
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of potential there. The Nacho course and also the Fudge one you mentioned too. Like we've gone a long way without like a Choco Island, Choco Mountain course that hasn't just been recreated. So they need to go to something else.
Waluigi Bounce is another one. The Wario Woods one could be really creative. I really like when there's like a special callback to something. Like obviously like there's gonna be a lot of maybe like Mario 64, Super Mario Bros. 3 references, but like Wario Woods, like that just seems like so out of the blue, you know?
Yeah, that a small percentage of people would actually get.
Along with that, I think Gad's Lab and then just Nabbit Wonderland. Like Nabbit Wonderland, like I want to see like some Nabbit representation, and I want to see like how'd he come about? He just came out of nowhere, you know? Like we don't know his story. So
yeah, we know nothing about him.
he, for all we know, he's just some purple rabbit that like wears the mask. Which is funny too, because like I remember Bowser Jr. used to wear it like the whole time for so long, and then once Nabbit started wearing it, Bowser Jr. really hasn't worn it since. So
yeah, he took it off. Nabbit stole it basically. Yeah. He's the one that wears the mask now.
That's crazy. I mean, overall, still was pretty good. A collab on this is something different. I haven't really done something like this.
Heck yeah, I like that idea.
Glad we could collab on this, and I don't know if you have anything else you want to say before we wrap it up.
Nope, it was a pleasure. Thanks for having me on, buddy. I'm excited. It's not very long, isn't it? Like April something?
They said April 2nd. I think I don't know if that's when it's coming out or if that's
like
in the Switch
2 months
2.
away.
It's just like the next direct. I have no idea. Definitely wanted to get this out before they start revealing all the courses and stuff.
Heck yeah.
Green Hill Circuit 2026, ladies and gentlemen. That is it.
So is that when the game's coming out, I think?
With them already teasing it, it might be a launch title. It might be 2025. I don't even know exactly when the system's coming out, so don't quote me on that.
Yeah, thanks for having me on again. It's great to talk Mario Kart, man. It's been so long since we've actually had a new full out game. I just can't wait until we get more information and to actually have the game, hopefully at the end of the year or something.
But I think it could be out as a launch title, maybe. I don't know, the way that they're
I feel like it has to be a launch title.
Yeah.
So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Let me know what you think some new cool course ideas would be. I know this is kind of a different video than I've done in the past. As a big Mario fan, I feel like I definitely got support. Look at my favorite game ever right there. I'm just excited for the next Mario Kart game. It's been a while, and Mario Kart is my favorite series. So hopefully Nintendo watches this and maybe takes some of these ideas and puts them into creative motion. But again, hopefully you guys enjoyed. Thank you guys for watching. We're out. Peace.